I know that guy. I know that voice. I
He
know that
is
song.
very handsome.
And Andy something.
Well, good morning.
Andy Kim is in the studio.
We've been waiting for you, and our listeners have been waiting for you. Man, people are excited that you're here.
You say that every time there's an artist.
I'm not kidding you. No, I posted on social media and I said, let us know what you think. And it started on Tuesday. Can't wait till Friday. Can't wait till Friday. So, no, folks are excited.
We want to know about your Canadian Music Hall of Fame induction, your reaction to that, because that's the big news of the week.
Well, you know what? I got so teary-eyed when I was told. It was really kind of like out of the clear blue because so much time has gone by, and there's you never think that that's going to be anything that's going to happen, dreaming of making records and performing never included a ceremony or getting an award, and the fact that I was able to finally be inducted just kind of made me miss my mom and dad because I wanted to tell them, hey, I'm there with all the great artists that Canada has produced, and I'm there with all the artists that are coming that will be part of this wall of kind of Canadian history, the tapestry of Canada as far as music goes.
They know. They're celebrating that with you. And if you have strength and courage on that day and you get up there and you own it on October the 27th, it will be because they're all around you, I think.
Well, part of me doesn't want to say anything. I just want to get up and say thank you. But for me, when I think about my success, look, everybody sits down, writes a song. Not everybody, but all those that aspire to be part of this great musical tent of musicianship. But when I look back, I think about the fact that my supporting cast has been radio. It's always been radio for me. No social media. You may have a couple of friends that are really your friends, but the most beautiful thing about it is that it's radio. And here I am, I'm on the radio. And as a kid, I used to live with the transistor radio glued to my ear, and I'd get at night WKBW in Buffalo and listen to Joey Reynolds and WABC in New York and listen to Cousin Brucey. Not only did they play great records, but what really inspired me is how they spoke about those artists.
Sure.
Those records, it didn't matter who it was always a great artist, and then they're going to be touring, and they promoted those artists, because you can hear that song on any radio station, but they took the time to talk about the artists. And for me, a radio station in Detroit called WKNR, and the program director was a gentleman by the name of Paul Keener, took a chance on a kid from Montreal who wrote a song that only had 2 chords. And I was on an independent label. I wasn't on any major label where people were really kind of helping my career along. And he loved that song so much that he added it. And that started my life. So it's been radio, and I'm back at radio, so thank you.
No.
I'm blabbing right now, but thank you.
No, it's good.
No, it's
the
awesome.
blabbing is more than welcome. Listen, you used a great word, great term, supporting cast, and you did it with reference to radio. But one of the things that I love about your story, because you were, yes, a performer, but also a ridiculously gifted songwriter. And I think for people, for several people that I've talked to, their first peek behind the scenes at how the writing end of the business works was watching Beautiful, the Carole King musical,
Right.
where we're taken behind the scenes, where we get to see all of those relationships. And it's funny because the first time I ever went to see that, and I saw that show 4 or 5 times, I thought of you because I thought of you being in the middle of that, in that same orbit with a lot of those same people who, a lot of them never got the credit for writing the songs that we all were rocking out to and listening to on our transistor radios when we were going to sleep.
Well, for me, what's interesting is I was in New York in July. Netflix and Banger Films are doing a documentary on the Brill Building, and so I'm a songwriter from the Brill Building. I learned my craft side by side with Jeff Barry and Ellie Greenwich. Then they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the U.S. and there was Carole King and Jerry Goffin and Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil and at the beginning I really kind of felt I felt really kind of out of sorts because they were already stars. They were kind of rock stars already as far as writing and producing goes. And I'm really kind of like, it's like I fit, but I didn't fit. But that was my only take. And it took kind of Baby I Love You and Sugar Sugar to really kind of cement something that allowed me to stay there longer because, Lieber and Stoller used to always tell everybody, you're only as good as your last 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So that played on my mind because it was such an important step for me to realize a life that instinctively I knew I wanted to live, but I couldn't package it. I couldn't put it together. I remember as a kid, having this dream and telling my dad what my dream was, and he, his only question was, "Will that make you happy?" Mm-hmm. And I said, "Yes, it'll make me happy. It'll make me so happy. I got to do this, Dad." And he said, "Well, tell me how it'll make you happy." Well, that was like a dead end question. I couldn't tell him how it would make me happy. So he said, "When you find out how it'll make you happy, maybe we can talk again about you going to New York and meeting people."
Wow. So many bases to cover with Andy Kim, and he's thankfully sticking around until 9 o'clock this morning. But we talk about young Andy, and talking about his career and talking about it with his dad and all those kinds of things. I want to play you the song that was at the very top of the list when Andy was coming in to sit in on Robbie Lane's show a couple of years ago. And we asked, what's your top 10 list of your favorite songs of all time? I'm going to share with you in a few minutes the song that was at the top of page 1 of that list for Andy. We'll get to there in just a second.
Yeah, and I have a quick text from Robbie Lane to you, Andy. He says, "Be sure to give my congratulations to Andy. He's a music hero of mine," and a big hug too.
Well, much love to you, Robbie. Talk to you soon.
We'll play that song of Andy's that was, it's not his song, but it's one of those that I got a hunch along the line somewhere made him want to be a musician in the first place. We'll play it for you in a couple minutes. First, let's get you a look here 20 after 8 at Toronto traffic with Ben Davey.
Southbound Don Valley Parkway around Lawrence, we had a stalled vehicle. Just got confirmation that that's